the emergency room because of exposure to secondhand smoke. She was so sensitive. And so in working with the landlord and, just talking about the liability and the risk of that health risk to that tenant, the building was supposed to be smoke-free. And so then we talked through a little bit, and the landlord then, or someone working for the property company, then talked to the tenant downstairs and found out, well, it wasn't the tenant that was smoking, it was her boyfriend who would smoke in the house late at night when the tenant was asleep. And so, sometimes there are just things that are beyond the control. The tenant thought that she didn't have a problem with this. And of course, people who smoke, their sense of smell is different. It's changed. It's not quite as sensitive as those of us who don't smoke. I mean, I can tell when I'm working with a family with car seats, I can tell when there's smoking that's occurred in the car or not, or when I work with a child, and you can just smell it's on the clothes, but people who smoke don't necessarily recognize that. So in this situation, the tenant was a smoker. She did smoke in her home, but her boyfriend was a smoker, but he smoked in the home, so she wasn't really even aware of that. But it was enough exposure seeping through the walls up to the upper apartment where it caused emergency room visits for this elderly woman. And so it was something that we were able to rectify and find, get to the bottom of it by communication, not by being heavy-handed in that. So I think that's it for my part of the presentation. And I think lunch is arriving, but I'd like to have our panelists address us a little bit with their experiences with adopting smoke-free policy. And we have three landlords who are here today. And I'm wondering if you would mind coming up to the front. With us we have Jeremy Novak, who is with 360 Real Estate. 360 Real Estate in Marvin Wanderers is one of the first properties that I worked with. And I remember going to a property managers meeting and just saying, have you ever thought about this? And they were kind of like, oh, I just don't know if this is something we want to do or not. And lo and behold, they've adopted policies with 360 Real Estate. So this is Jeremy. Jason Alberti is with Point West Investments. No, yes, Point West Investments. And he is involved in a project. Actually, I was tipped off to get in touch with Jason by Larry Kirsch at our Healthy Living collaboration. Larry said, well, you might want to contact Jason. He's building a project on State Street, and he might be interested in adopting smoke-free policy. And so I called Jason, and he said, yeah, let's meet and talk. And so we did, and now the building is nearing completion. It's been a difficult winter for construction, but Jason is adopting policies, and I'm not sure what policies are in your other buildings, but you can share that as we go along. And then Pamela Stripmatter is president of the Apartment Association, and we've been working together for a number of years. I addressed the Apartment Association probably in 2005 or 6, just talking about this when we're working on smoke-free workplaces, just thinking about, well, we should be thinking about where people live and the benefits of that as well. So I'll let each of you take a couple minutes and just share what your experiences have been, and then if there are questions that you and the audience have, we'll do that, and then we'll have lunch. Okay, so whoever would like to start. You want to start, Jen?
All right. Well, I think it was a year ago, we had implemented as a company smoke-free policies in, I think it was 1 or 2 buildings, just to kind of give it a test run and see what the response would be from our customer base. And the response was overwhelmingly positive overall. So just recently here, we announced that we were going to take that policy across all of our campuses and all the buildings that we manage. Just because it makes good sense, I think from an economic standpoint, for turnover purposes, from a customer service standpoint, making sure that people are in a clean, healthy environment. So I think one of the challenges we'll face is we'll have occasions, particularly on some of our campus-oriented properties, where you have Oktoberfest weekend, people are coming into town to visit and have a good time. And so we'll have a little bit of a challenge with the enforcement aspect. But our guests and our customers overwhelmingly have responded positively to this implementation of being smoke-free in the property. So fundamentally, it's about taking care of customers and making sure that they're happy with their residents and where they live. And they don't have a problem letting us know, hey, this is supposed to be a smoke-free property. I know that my neighbor's smoking. What are you going to do about it? And then so we just, we go through the 5-day process of issuing notice, make a phone call, touch base, and just let the residents know that, hey, this is a smoke-free policy or a smoke-free building, and you got to take care of this. Can't do do it any further. So we'll see how it goes with having all the properties be smoke-free effective June 1st.
You also adopted a policy on your way to this business policy for your other rental units where there were, in an apartment individually, if you had an apartment that had 3 bedrooms, so you had 3 students who were renting where they get a discount for agreeing that they would not smoke in the.
They got a discount on their security deposit. So if they were willing to essentially sign an agreement, they were not going to have gas or themselves smoke in the apartment, we were giving them a discount on their security deposit. So
So
there
that
was a
was a
financial
stepping
incentive.
stone, yeah,
Yeah.
stepping stone for him, for 360 Real Estate as a business to say, let's explore this a little bit. And I remember either talking to you or Marvin and saying, wow, this went over really well.
Yeah.
And so, it's something, again, another business strategy to explore. If you're thinking you might want to explore this, it's something else to look at. Thanks.
Can I ask, did you do it with brand new leases, or at least renewal, or did you grandfather some people in?
No, it's all of the above. Yeah, so what we've done is set out notices that effective this particular date, the properties are smoke-free. And so even if people were smoking in it, then they can no longer be in the property smoking. They go out to your car, go out to the sidewalk, do what you have to do to smoke. But within the buildings themselves, and I think we put in a buffer zone around that of 25 feet of the entrances as well, so that you can't smoke within the entrances of the building either. So like I said, we'll see how the actual implementation and compliance goes, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. And ultimately, it just comes down to communicating effectively with other tenants and customers, and just letting them know that this is what it is, and here's the path, and we don't want to come in heavy-handed with anybody, but ultimately, it's for the betterment of the
So let's
property.
say somebody had a big huge justification about it and wasn't going to comply, would you like maybe let them out of their lease then? Or?
I think that we handle it on a case-by-case basis, so I'd have to know what the circumstances are before I can give a definitive answer. We have people that have temper tantrums every single week, on some issue or another, so we just handle it, as a case-by-case basis.
Jason.
And going off what Jeremy said, we've got a new building on 10th and State that we're putting up. And during the construction process of it, it was our goal to try to achieve as many amenities as possible in this building. And what we did not expect is that our smoke-free policy would be possibly the #1 amenity that all the college students and more even their parents are just loving about everything. It comes up with probably 95% of the renters that I've talked to. Is this a smoke-free building? And it's just great to tell them yes. I haven't had a single person tell me no on living there because we were smoke-free. Even the smokers these days, it seems that they enjoy smoke-free. They have no problem going outside. To take a couple instances in the last week, just yesterday, I gave a tour to a girl. She wanted to see a couple different 2-bedroom apartments. One was in a much older building, one was in a newer building. The older building was smoke-free. It had very little amenities. It does not compare to the newer building. We get to the newer building, and it reeks of cigarettes. I was surprised. I've been in this before. Needless to say, afterwards, she's asking me all of the questions on the old building, the one that I thought was inferior in every single way, except for the fact of the smell. She's now signing a lease for the old building. And the new building is, and that's exactly what Paula said, it's 12 apartments, and I think there's probably only 2 in the building that smoke, but it just radiates through the walls, through the floors, everywhere. If you have a couple smokers in a building, the whole building is going to smell like smoke. And then one other incident about a week ago, this is all recent stuff here, we have a 6-unit apartment building, and I'm losing 2 units for next year because the woman downstairs smokes. It's a chain smoker. Nobody else in the building smokes, but it's radiating through the floors, through everything. So now great tenant, this woman. Now I have the decision to make that it's tough. It is tough. And what Jeremy said, it's a lot of case-by-case basis. But I know what we're going to have.